Let me take you on a journey not just through geography, but into the darkest corners of human suffering, where medicine met madness, and the walls still whisper the secrets of the damned. These hospitals are real, and their stories are terrifyingly true. Part 1. Beelitz-Heilstätten, Germany. Our story begins in the dense woods outside Berlin, Germany, where the haunting Beelitz-Heilstätten hospital complex lies. Built in the late 1800s as a tuberculosis sanatorium, it was later used as a military hospital during both World Wars. Adolf Hitler himself was treated here after being injured in World War I. But what really lingers in these halls is not history, it's horror. Locals speak of hearing wheelchairs rolling through empty hallways and seeing figures in nurse uniforms vanish into thin air. The air is said to grow colder as you walk deeper into the main building. Many urban explorers have entered the crumbling halls, but not all of them left the same. One German photographer went to shoot a documentary on abandoned places. He entered with two friends. They all reported seeing the same thing. A woman, pale and shaking, wearing a torn hospital gown, standing at the end of the corridor. When they called out to her, she turned around, but had no face. They ran, but to this day none of them can explain the pictures they took, where in the final image the faceless woman appears right behind them. Part 2. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Kentucky, USA. Next, we cross the ocean to Louisville, Kentucky. Welcome to Waverly Hills Sanatorium, arguably the most haunted hospital in the United States. Built in 1910 to treat tuberculosis patients, thousands died here in agony before antibiotics were invented. Waverly Hills had something called the body chute, a long tunnel used to discreetly dispose of corpses down the hill to waiting hearses. The idea was to keep morale up, so patients didn't realize just how many people were dying. Today, paranormal investigators flock here, drawn by reports of ghostly children playing in the halls, unexplained screams from the old surgical rooms, and the infamous Room 502, where two nurses are said to have taken their own lives. One visitor, a skeptic at the time, stayed overnight for a documentary. In the footage, he explores Room 502 and taunts the spirits. Moments later, the camera violently shakes and goes dark. When they found him, he was unconscious, with deep scratches across his chest, spelling one word backward: stay. He never spoke of the incident again. Part 3. Gonjiam Psychiatric Hospital, South Korea. In the hills of Gyeonggi Province, South Korea, lies the infamous Gonjiam Psychiatric Hospital. Officially closed in the 1990s, the rumors say it shut down because patients were mysteriously dying one after another. Some blame a deranged doctor. Others, something far worse. The building still stands, overgrown and frozen in time. Hospital beds remain unmade. Patient records litter the floors. A piano untouched for decades still has fingerprints on the keys. Explorers who have dared to go inside describe an overwhelming sense of dread, as though being watched. One popular story tells of a group of 5 teens who entered at night with cameras. They laughed at first, making jokes, until they found the records room. There, written in red on the wall, was a date: July 7th, 2007. One girl gasped. That was her birthday. The moment she said it aloud, the lights, yes, somehow still wired, flashed once, and she vanished. Police later found the others outside, dazed, with no memory of how they got there. The girl, never found. Part 4. Poveglia Island Hospital, Italy. Now we go to the waters of Venice, Italy. There lies a small forbidden island called Poveglia. Tourists aren't allowed and locals refuse to go near it. But what stands there is what remains of a psychiatric hospital built in the early 20th century. Poveglia's land is cursed, soaked in the ashes of plague victims and war dead. The hospital was constructed atop mass graves, and the madness only grew. Legends say the head doctor performed inhumane experiments on patients, drilling into their skulls without anesthesia, trying to cure mental illness. Eventually, the doctor himself is said to have gone mad. He jumped or was pushed from the hospital tower. Some say he died instantly. Others claim he was alive when the spirits of his victims dragged him away into the fog. To this day, people hear screams and bells ringing from that tower, though it's been empty for nearly 100 years. Part 5. Arad Hospital, Romania. Lastly, we head to Romania, not far from the heart of Transylvania, to the Arad County Hospital. Unlike the others, this one is still in use, but the horrors are just as real. In the late 1990s, nurses began reporting strange incidents, patients disappearing from locked rooms, shadows moving against the walls. A nurse on night shift claimed she saw a man in a straitjacket standing at the end of a hallway, grinning. When she turned to call security and looked back, he was gone. Then came the blackout incident. One night, the power went out in the entire East Wing for just 43 seconds. When it returned, one of the nurses was gone. Her cart was still in the hallway, wheels still spinning. A massive search was launched, but nothing. No trace, no camera footage, not even a shoe. Since then, that wing is locked after dark. Doctors whisper among themselves of the third door in the basement, which doesn't appear on blueprints and always seems to lead to a different room than before. Some say it's just superstition. Others refuse to even go near it. Conclusion: what lies beyond? These are just a few of the real-world hospitals where history, horror, and the human mind intertwine. Whether you believe in ghosts, curses, or simply the madness that lingers in places of suffering, one thing is certain: some buildings never forget, and some doors should never be opened. If you ever find yourself near one of these hospitals, listen closely. That faint whisper, that echo in the hallway, it might not be your imagination. It might be a warning.